For a lot of adult children of alcoholics, cortisol is likely running the show in your life. You might wake up feeling overwhelmed for what seems like no reason. You might really struggle to relax. Or you may feel super anxious even when things are calm in your life. In today's video, I'm going to share exactly how you can start lowering cortisol in your body and start regulating your nervous system. I'm Corey. I'm a trauma-informed mind-body practitioner, and I work with adult children of alcoholics to help them come out of survival and finally find safety. So before we get started, I wanted to get one thing clear. Cortisol is not necessarily bad for you. It is designed for a very valid purpose of keeping us safe in times of danger. It's also the hormone in our body that allows us to feel energy and actually get shit done. But problems start to arise, especially for children of alcoholics, that when you grow up in an environment of unpredictability and chaos and not understanding when the next danger is going to arise, for example, your alcoholic parent doing something, your body starts to learn over time that danger can strike anytime, anywhere. So this keeps cortisol switched on. This keeps the stress hormone continuously pumping through your body so that your body is ready to face the threat, example, alcoholic parent, and whether you can fight, so fight your way away from the threat, you can flight, so you can run away, or freeze, shut down. But even decades later, when the threat, who could be your alcoholic parent, might not be around anymore, your body is still acting from that survival response. It's still acting from a state of fight, flight, or freeze. So unfortunately, we still have a high level of cortisol pumping through our body. So when it comes to reducing the amount of stress hormone that you have in your body, it's not about forcing yourself to be calm. It's about teaching your body and your mind that it's safe now. You know, you may no longer be living in the environment with your alcoholic parent, but your body might not realize that. We actually have to show the body that it is safe, that it's okay to turn off this stress hormone now. And I want to start with probably the most simple, but the most powerful way to reduce the cortisol levels in your body, and that is your breath. I'm sure we have all heard of breath work now. It has become massive in the mainstream. And it is for a very good reason. It's actually not just one of those trends that blows up and will disappear over time. Breath work is so powerful for helping to regulate your body and bring it back to a state of balance. And the most amazing thing is it's free and we all have access to it. And for a lot of children of alcoholics, you might find that your breath is shallow. So you're breathing from up here in your chest, or you might even be holding your breath without even realizing it. But when we do this, it's sending signals to the body that it is in danger. So slow, intentional, conscious breathing signals the opposite to the body. It signals safety. Now, one thing I do want to flag here when it comes to the breath, and this is something I have personally experienced, and that is why I'm sharing it. When you are someone who has lived from a constant state of breathing in your chest and not ever feeling calm enough to take those full, deep belly breaths, when you start actually breathing correctly, or when you start bringing attention to your breath or being conscious about your breathing, it can actually feel really uncomfortable. It can feel like it's nearly doing the opposite to what it should be. So for myself, when I started connecting to my breath, especially when I started doing yoga, it actually sent me into a little bit of a panic because it was very uncomfortable for me. It was very much the unknown for my body. So my body was so used to breathing from up here that when I started taking long and slow inhale and exhales, the body was like, oh, that's different. That's uncomfortable. That's not safe. And sends off the warning bells. And I start getting anxious and start overthinking. And I'm like, am I going to have a panic attack? Oh God, something is wrong. This doesn't feel normal. So if you are or have attempted to do breath work in the past and you come up against these kind of senses of panic or overwhelm or anxiety, know that it is very normal. Know that you are safe and just start breathing normally again. Okay, because the technique I'm going to give you now is it's a very simple inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. And although this shouldn't cause any panic or overwhelm in the body, It may, I don't know what your experience has been like. So I wanted to flag that before it may happen to you and you start freaking out and being like, there's something wrong with me. Okay. So when we're connecting back to the breath, when we're allowing ourselves to be intentional and conscious with our breathing, which again, as I said, is going to signal safety to our body, it's really important that your inhale, okay, is shorter than the exhale. Because when we breathe in, that speeds up your heart rate. But when we exhale, that slows down your heart rate. So think in will make things go faster, and exhaling will slow it all down. And we want to slow it all down because no doubt you're probably like living from a space of hypervigilance and running at 100 miles an hour, because I know I was. So it's really important that just keep it in the back of your mind that when you start connecting with your breath, when you start inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 6, you may start to feel a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of panic, a little bit of overwhelm. Know that it's okay. Bring your breath back to normal and try it again at a later stage. Because over time and with practice, that longer exhale is actually going to trigger your internal calm button, because we all have one of them. It's called the vagus nerve. And it's the longest nerve in our body. It's part of our parasympathetic nervous system. So the rest and digest. And that's the state we want to get to, because that's where we feel calm and balanced and happy and relaxed. So we want that vagus nerve to get activated. But it's a practice that you need to commit to on a regular basis to start seeing that full impact and effect. So think, I have an internal calm button. I can turn that on. I just need to practice regularly, allowing myself to gain control of my breath. Step 2, and honestly, I struggle to put into words the profound impact this has had on me and my healing journey and moving forward from childhood trauma, is reconnecting back to my body. And this can be, again, another really uncomfortable, overwhelming thing to do, especially because when we grow up in chaos and unpredictability and we experience trauma, the trauma that is growing up with an alcoholic parent, and that trauma it's a very large spectrum. Some people, it could have been horrible and horrific, and some people it could have still been traumatic, but not to the state of what someone else might have experienced. But it doesn't matter, okay? When we experience whatever we perceive as traumatic, that really disconnects us from the body, because the body doesn't feel safe. So over time, we start to really be disconnected from that lack of safety within the body and start living really up from a space in our minds. And the reason why we're living in our minds is because it felt safer there. And for me, the biggest impact in allowing me to reconnect back to my body has been yoga. And I'm not going to preach to you and tell you now you have to start doing yoga classes or whatever that looks like. Okay. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But it was the practice of slow movement, so mindful movement, using my breath to keep myself anchored in the present moment and being present with my body. So when you do yoga, you're very much on your mat and you're present and you're there and you're feeling into the body and you're using your breath, and the movements are slow and they're controlled, and this automatically signals a sense of safety to the body. So you don't have to do yoga, but find a movement that will allow you to reconnect back to your body in a similar way. Because what that reconnection has done for me, again, I find it very difficult to put it into words, but it's really allowed me to reconnect back to my authentic self. Because when I was living from my headspace all the time, yes, okay, I'm still living as Corey, that's who I am, but it wasn't the true authentic version of myself. And when I started doing yoga, and over a period of time, when I started noticing the body really relaxing and feeling more safe, a couple of things happened. I started to get really more in tune with my intuition. So my intuition became a lot more heightened. I really started trusting myself and what I was feeling and what my inner guide was telling me. And it hasn't brought me wrong yet, to be honest. It really allowed me to connect back to what I wanted in life, like authentically wanted. Because Before then, I wanted to be a millionaire and I wanted an Audi R8 and I wanted a big fancy modern house. And yes, I still want to be a millionaire, okay? But before, it was like my happiness was attached to that, and that was like what I thought authentically would make me happy. Now I am very aware that that's not going to make me happy. It is just a goal that I have for financial freedom for myself. But I'm very aware of what my authentic happiness and my authentic journey is now, compared to before, when I was completely disconnected from my body and was living a life that wasn't truly what I wanted. So I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted you to realize the importance and the difference it can make in your life when you are living from a space of either disconnected from your body or being connected from your body. So start small, all right? If you want to start today after this video, start really small. Sit in the chair and put your feet on the ground. Notice your feet on the ground. Notice your legs against the chair. Gently roll your shoulders, stretch your neck, maybe bring your hands up while you're doing, like, maybe inhale, slowly exhale, bringing a little bit of mindful movement into it. Pop your hands on your chest, close your eyes, introduce your breath, long inhale, long exhale, and just tell yourself, I am safe. And again, the goal is not to force yourself to feel relaxed. The goal is to signal to your body that stillness is not dangerous. Stillness is safety. Step 3 for helping reduce your cortisol levels, this probably sounds a bit random, is balancing your blood sugar levels. So when you skip meals, like not having breakfast or skipping meals throughout the day, when you drink too much caffeine, or when you maybe self-soothe with too much sugar, your body releases more cortisol, because remember what I said at the start, cortisol gives us energy. So your body releases more cortisol to help you make it through the day. So you end up stuck in this loop where stress raises your cortisol levels, which then makes you crave this quick energy hit, which then spikes and crashes your blood sugar. And then the body responds with even more cortisol. So instead, be mindful, manage your blood sugar levels throughout the day. And you can do this very simply with just balanced meals. Because again, remember, your stress hormones, cortisol, this is a body-based experience. Eating, having food, is a body-based experience. So allowing yourself whole foods, protein-rich foods, healthy fats, carbs are okay, they're not the devil. Allowing yourself to eat balanced meals throughout the day is going to manage the cortisol levels, is going to manage how stressed and anxious and agitated you feel. It's also going to manage your other internal systems, like your hormonal system or your immune system. So it's not just about cutting out the crap and eating good. It's about the impact this is having on your full self. And lastly, start doing things that are boring. And people usually look at me a bit funny when I say this, but it's really, really true for children of alcoholics. When our bodies are used to chaos and unpredictability and high stress environments, peace feels boring to us. That's why if you find yourself in like a calm relationship with a partner, you're like, oh, these are a bit boring, aren't they? Or when you find yourself at home with nothing to do, you start to feel restless, agitated. You're like, oh God, I need to do something. I need to scroll on my phone. I need to clean the house. I need to do whatever it is. Just something that distracts me from this feeling of completely restlessness. But boring and having boringness in your life is actually your nervous system healing. The more regulated you become, the more that you actually crave that slower pace. You crave the simpler, boring things in life, like an early night, like staying at home and cooking a simple meal, like a walk in nature, quiet mornings, journaling, not feeling like you have to say yes to going for lunches every weekend with friends or going on nights out or doing things that suck your energy. All of a sudden, you start to feel a bit more re energized by the things that you once considered maybe boring in life. I know for me, this was a massive part of my healing journey. I actually wrote about this a lot online last year when I had time to write online. Was the more you awaken or the more you heal and become regulated, the more boring you get. And it's not that you're becoming a boring, dull person. It's that the simpler, quieter, more balanced things actually bring you more joy than the fast-paced, chaotic, live fast, die young, however I used to live my life. Like that used to be my thing, go out at the weekend, take drugs, stay up for 48 hours, party hard, whatever. Now, my happiness and my fulfillment and my contentment looks very boring compared to that lifestyle. So the next time you're at home and you're feeling bored and you're saying, I'm bored, maybe reframe it to, I'm not bored. I'm starting to find safety. So remember, you can't think your way back into safety. You have to allow yourself to feel it. That means coming back and reconnecting to your body time and time again, even in those moments that may feel uncomfortable, like when I talked about using your breath. It's about showing up for yourself in small ways every day, being consistent, and over time allowing your body to gradually find safety. If this video resonated with you, I have a full video explaining cortisol and being the child of an alcoholic, and I will leave the link for that in the video description below. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel so we can continue on this journey together from healing from the pain of having an alcoholic parent.